Is there even actually a pilot shortage? Hey guys, my name is Katie. I'm a professional pilot, and I'm here today to talk to you about the pilot shortage that we've heard about. But is there actually even one? So today, while I was reading about the FAA Reauthorization Act, I read the ALPA's stance on this, and it seems that they don't think that there's actually that much of a pilot shortage that maybe everybody else does. So here's what's going on. The mandatory retirement age for airline pilots is 65 years of age. This was raised in 2007 when it was raised from 60 to 65. However, it was raised by ICAO first, so the international committee that handles all these things for the whole world. They raised the retirement age, and then the FAA just kind of met that. Right now, what's going on is they were talking about raising it just in the US. So this was supposed to offset this pilot shortage, but that really wouldn't help that much because those airline captains would not be able to fly internationally. The interesting thing is a lot of pilots, when they get to that point in their career, they're on like a wide body aircraft flying internationally because it's usually the best schedule. They can just eat, sleep, land, and wake up in Greece and make $300,000 a year, right? So they're all trying to get there, and they should, they work hard and they should have a pretty easy schedule as they retire, and they should be fairly compensated. But if you have an international law that says they can't fly in a multi-crew aircraft past the age of 65, then those 66 and 67-year-old pilots are just gonna have to fly domestically in the US. And then the airline is going to have to pay to retrain them in a different aircraft. Now, another piece of data that that ALPA has is that 40% of 64-year-old pilots are on some kind of medical leave, disability, or extended PTO. So only 60% of pilots past that age are actively working anyways. They're now thinking about the cost to the airline that it would take to retrain those pilots to get 2 years out of 60% of them. And it just doesn't make sense really financially for them. They also would take, the sim time and the instructor time from like a brand new first officer who would be able to work for them for like 35 years. So during the pandemic, the airlines offered early retirements for pilots age 62 to 65. 6,000 pilots retired during that time. And we're set to have 3,000 pilots retire per year at the age of 65 for the next couple years. Now, ALPA has pointed out that there's been some studies done on different groups of pilots, and one of the numbers that was come up with was 4,300 pilots per year retiring. However, that is all ATP in the United States. So the license, just airline transport pilot license, rating, whatever you want to say, those pilots is what their data is off of. However, you got to think, if we have all the ATP pilots in the United States and we take out those that didn't actually work as airline pilots, they don't even work in aviation anymore at all. Then you take out all the Part 91 pilots. Then you take all the Part 135 pilots. Then you have the 121 ATP group and the captains of that group. So this is basically data on people that can even be an airline pilot. What ALPA is saying is the data is on just that whole group of 4,300, which obviously doesn't actually reflect the real numbers of people that are going to be retiring. Basically, ALPA is saying we don't really have that much of a pilot shortage. The data is on 4,300. That's not accurate numbers. 4,300 pilots retiring at age 65, and that's not accurate numbers. So we'll see what actually happens. Right now, I know a lot of the major airlines are actually still hiring, maybe not quite as much as they were in 2021 and 2022, but a lot of them are operating as if they still are going to have to replace these retirements, and they may have a little bit more accurate data than the DOT overall on the number of pilots that they have that are actively flying and actively going to be retired at 65. So interesting take. I think overall, aviation is still a great career, great industry. And if you work hard and you have a good reputation and you have good connections, you always will have a great career in aviation. It's got its ups and downs, so you got to manage your finances correctly. But let me know what you think. Do you actually think there's an airline pilot shortage or a pilot shortage at all? Has it been overblown? Have we replaced them enough already? I know that the FAA did say that we have put 10,000 pilots into the pipeline in the past 2 years. So we have 3,000 retiring a year, and in 2 years, we've certified 10,000 pilots. Now, it's unclear what the licenses of those 10,000 pilots are. Is that just a commercial pilot? Because that's still a pretty long way away from being in the left seat of an airline. So we'll see in the next couple of years how this goes. Share your thoughts below. If you work for an airline and have seen the hiring, let me know. Or if you just have an opinion on the data that maybe I missed, I'd love to hear your opinion.